Hey y'all, what's up? This is Jesse Both, aka J-Bone, and we are about to start the tutorial for the Easter Links tournament. And let's go ahead. Here I am. What's up? How y'all doing tonight? Before we get down to business and talk about the course, just want to encourage you to jump over to the 19th hole, new up-and-coming community on Facebook. And I just encourage you to go there, check us out. If you like us, join. And don't forget to also subscribe to me on YouTube. Give me that thumbs up if you like this video. If you got any suggestions or comments, please feel free to leave that in the comment section. So without any further ado, let's get going. We're going to move on to our first hole. Okay? And hole number 1 is a par 4. So we're starting off with the par 4. Okay, and this is a hole that should look familiar to you. It's not really, this isn't one of the new holes. This is an old hole, and there are only a few different ways you're going to play this hole. As long as we have a tailwind, which I figure we would. We normally do have some sort of tailwind on this hole on the tournaments. In my opinion, the best route is to land it right here and jump it over to this area of the fairway next to the green. Okay, so that's your shot right there. You're going to be using a lot of top spin, some left side spin, and you just want to make sure you land it somewhere in this area right here. Now, if you don't feel comfortable with making that shot, and you just want to kind of take the easier approach, take your drive, land it somewhere up in here, off the tee box. Alright, you will see some people try to employ make a slice hook on this shot, on this hole, and when they do that, they kind of aim it somewhere up in this area, and if this is your pin meter right here, and that's your arrow, you will pull back on your ball far this way, and once this arrow right here gets to pointing that way, you will click it. And what that's going to do is that's going to bring your ball very far hook, land it hopefully somewhere in here, and then bounce toward the green. This is definitely more of a high risk, high chance shot, but it can pay off with some nice reward, because your ball will gain a good amount of distance on the hop, and you could actually make your way onto the green. I myself just kind of like this shot right here, where you land it here, hop over to in there sometime. Depending on the strength of your club, you might be able to get on the green going that way as well. So we are going to move on to our next hole. One thing I need to let y'all know is I did make one change that I noticed to the green. Right before the hole, there used to be a little mound, kind of like that. And as you came down this slope, as long as you got to this mound area, your ball would funnel into the hole. They have changed the surface of the green in the revamped version of this hole, so that area is no longer there. So that little trick is gone. So do not count on that for the easy roll-in eagle. Alright, so hole number 2, this is a par 3. A fairly easy par 3, and I would probably go ahead and use my backbone on this hole. Your landing zone for this hole is going to be right in there. Okay? That's where you want to land your shot. I like to use 2 left spin and at least 3 backspin. this shot. What you want to do is you want to line your line up basically to roll it in the hole like that. So you want to bounce here, bounce, hit, roll, and curve it into the hole like that. And I like the 2 side spin and 3 backspin approach to doing so. Some people like to use as much backspin as they can and aim it up really close to the hole, but I like to incorporate a little bit of roll into my shot, so that's how I play this hole. Alright, next up we have hole number 3, and this is a par 5. So we got hole 3, par 5. This is a hole that we all should be used to. They have kind of revamped it a little bit. One thing I did notice is there is a little bit of a gap in these trees right here. So if you wanted to and you're very accurate, you could take your driver straight through the trees and up onto that fairway like that. You'd have to bounce in here, bounce over that sand bunker and onto the fairway. I saw it done earlier. But in my opinion, that's a pretty high risk shot. You're really having to have everything go right for you. You got to hit that perfect shot, and you got to make sure you do have enough distance on that bounce with your driver, and probably you're gonna need tons of topspin to clear that bunker. So I would not suggest that path. I would either suggest bouncing it here with topspin and rolling it up into this area, which would give you a nice second shot onto the green. Or if you feel like you have a tailwind or a wind that's beneficial to you to do this, you could try to land your tee shot right in here with topspin and right spin, so that your ball hits and spins off that way to this section right here. That would probably be the most beneficial shot and give you the most amount of reward for the lowest amount of risk you have to take. From there, you have a pretty easy second shot onto the green with your long iron, and you can use 3 bars, 2-3 bars of backspin, and just kind of make sure you line up that line with the hole and adjust for the wind. So that is that hole. And we're going to move on to the next hole here. I don't know what's going on with my sound. Alright, so here we go. This is one of the new par 3s. And this is hole number 4. Hole 4, par 3. What you're going to want to do here, as you can see this middle area right here, you can see it's kind of uneven. There's a lot of little craters and changes of elevation in that section. If you try to jump your shot off that area, you're really going to have an inconsistent ball path, and it's going to be really hard to have a good judgment and make a good shot that way, unless you have it perfectly lined up and you hit a perfect shot. Any kind of great one way or the other will really throw your ball off to a weird bounce or unreliable hop. What I suggest doing is saying going on this right side, this little fairway patch right here, okay, and you're going to want to jump it here with some spin to bring it to the hole. I know it definitely works with the Viper and with the Sniper. I would suggest probably using the Viper on this hole unless you do have the Sniper. So it's not too hard of a shot. Just make sure you got it lined up and adjust for the wind correctly. Alright, moving on to our next hole. This is hole number 6. And this is a par 4. Okay? Or I take that back. This is hole number 5. And this is a par 5. This is one of the newer holes on the course. As you can see, there's lots of different ways you can play this hole. You can use your extra mile. You can use the big topper with all the top spin provided on that. And as long as you have tailwind and you have at least an extra mile 5 or a big topper 3, you should be able to land it here. Well, let me get this right here. You should be able to land it in this section right here and jump over and roll it into this area somewhere right in here. If for any reason the wind is not helpful in the tournament and we don't have a very good tailwind, you might be forced to either lay it up in this area or try to go for the shot here and jump it over to this zone right here. I will tell you this about that left side. That fairway area is kind of shaped, it's kind of like got a bowl effect to it. So even if you do land there, it's going to be tough to roll through the fairway and into that rough. So that right there, that's a good thing. I would, however, try to shoot for taking your shot over in this zone right here. That right there is going to leave you the best chance of shot for the green. From your second shot, you are looking at probably either a big dog or guardian. Especially if your shot keeps you in here or back here, you'll definitely be needing the big dog. If you're able to get up in this section though, you will be able to use like the Viper or the Sniper if you have it. I would just go ahead and pack the big dog because you never know what you're going to need, and it's definitely going to have the power to get you to the green in 2. I would definitely not consider this an albatross hole, and I would say that the best chance for an albatross would be from over in this section right here. The best chance for an albatross would be over in this section right here, because that does give you the straightest shot to the green to possibly roll the ball into the hole for the albatross. But I would not push to try to like get the albatross in this hole. I would just make sure you get the eagle, and maybe after playing it a few times, maybe in like the qualifying and opening round, once you feel a little bit more comfortable with the hole, then you might consider trying to get the albatross. So when you're making your second shot, the green is elevated and slightly sloped downhill, so you just want to make sure you do put enough power on your ball to get it up to the hole. Alright, so we move on to our next hole, and this is hole number 6. And this is a par 4, one that we have seen before. They did make a change to this hole as well. There is now a little bit of an extra gap here in between the trees. It's kind of like, almost like Playdemic is trying to entice you to make that shot through the trees and over the bunker toward the green. I say don't fall for it. Continue to take your drive straight up that side right there and through that gap. Try to land it in this area right here. Don't put too much topspin on your shot, because you do not want to go on to this little area of the green. If you end up there, you will definitely be at least 2-putting and ruining your round. You can use the extra mile on this hole, or maybe even the big topper with the topspin. If you're looking for a club with a little more accuracy, you may consider the quarterback or the rock, whichever you choose and whichever you're most comfortable with. I've always used the extra mile in this hole and never had any kind of issues. For your second shot, right in here, oops. For your second shot in here, you will be using a short iron up to the green, 2 to 3 backspin, line it up with the hole just a little bit in front of the hole, and adjust for the wind and hit that shot. Get you that eagle. Alright, so we are on to our next hole, and this is a par 3, and this is hole number 7. Now, the first thing you're going to notice about this hole is the severe uphill slope that you have from this point to that point. Okay? And also there is definitely a slope on the green. So if you land your ball anywhere on this area of the green and it stops, it will roll back down to the front of the green. So on this hole, I would suggest using probably your Viper, and you're going to want to use at least 2 topspin on the shot, and I would suggest landing the ball in this zone right here, bouncing it up to the green. There is a somewhat left to right slope in this area right here, so once you do line your shot up with the hole, you do want to kind of adjust your side spin a little bit to the left, maybe 1 or a half a bar or so, to compensate for that slope on the fairway to kind of counteract the ball. So once you line your shot up with the green, and you have your ball guide lined up where you want it, that's when you add that extra half bar of spin to the left. Okay? And that's pretty much it on this hole. If you do want to use your big dog, make sure you do use a little bit of top spin, because you do want to make sure you do get up on the green and roll to the back area next to the hole at the very minimum. You do not want to come up short, because you do not want to roll back down the hill. As you're setting up your shot, you also do want to make sure your ball guide has a little bit of an arc to it. You don't want just a straight line drive onto the putting green where the ball rolls off the back and into that bunker. Alright, we're moving on to our next hole, and this is hole number 8. This is one of the new holes, and it is a par 4. I would suggest getting some of your clubs that have a large amount of backspin to them, maybe like a Machete, your Saturn for your long iron, even if your backbone still has a decent amount of backspin, but your Saturn probably has a little bit more. There's 2 ways to play this hole. If you're going to play it conservatively off the tee, you're going to play it up here. You do want to try to get your ball somewhere in that area right there, preferably the front half of that zone, because if you stay in the back half of this zone, you will have a tough shot of the green. You have a very small landing area on the green from that area, and you will need to have a club with a lot of backspin, and it will still take a very precise shot to get that ball onto green, in the hole. Very tough shot to get the eagle from that area of the fairway. Your other option is to go over here and bounce it to this area for a possibility of a short chip into the hole for the eagle, or even in this bunker you'll still have a chance with the eagle with say with your wedge. When you are playing this hole, you do want to make sure that you take into account the slope of this fairway downhill and that way. So when you jump your ball in this area right here, you do want to make sure that your ball guide is pointing towards this fairway. Okay? And you want to make sure the projected trajectory of your ball in factoring in the wind still has you on a path towards the fairway, because you don't want to end up in the rough or the bunker. Okay. Your shot from here is a pretty easy shot. 3 bars of backspin. Line it up in front of the hole, drop it in there for the eagle. Alright, we move on to our last hole, and this is hole number 9. On this hole, you're either going to be trying to jump it over into this center area if you have a decent enough driver with some tailwind, or if you're unable to do that, you're going to want to curl your shot around to this zone right here. Okay? So if you do choose to try to curl your shot to this area right here, you will definitely have a long second shot. Make sure you bring your big dog on this hole, because you will definitely need it if you want to try to make your shot to the green. If you do lay up, it will take a very good shot to get to the green from there. And this is definitely another one of those holes that I doubt we're going to see many albatrosses on. And your best chance of an eagle is getting your ball into this zone. From there, you'll have a fairly easy shot with some right spin and maybe a little bit of curl using your big dog. From back here, you're most likely going to have to make an overpowered shot to get the ball to the green with your big dog. So, I know I did not show you any of the videos of me playing the holes this time, but those videos are available on my YouTube channel. And if you want to search me, you can just type in my name on the YouTube search bar, and that will take you directly to my channel. But if you are watching this video, you are already on my YouTube channel, so just kind of click on my videos link, and I do have a playlist set up with all of the rookie videos for the Easter Link tournament. So you can go there, check them out. If you click on the first video and watch it, it'll automatically take you to the next video, so on and therefore and so forth. So you can watch all the videos in succession of one another. If you do have any questions or any comments, please make sure to leave me those questions and comments in my comment section. Just scroll down to the bottom of the video on the page, and there should be a place to leave me a comment on there. If you do want to join me on Facebook, just search for me. We are on, let's see if we can go, no, okay. We are on our new community website on Facebook. Our group is called the 19th Hole. Just go to the search bar and type in 19th Hole, the 19th Hole. It should pull up. You can hang out with me. You can hang out with It's RJ TV. You can hang out with members from the Mod Squad. If you've ever watched RJ's live stream, you know what I'm talking about when I say the Mod Squad. But I also want to encourage you to make sure you do subscribe to my YouTube channel, so that when I do drop my new videos, you can be notified of them and you won't have to wait and try to find them other places. So I think that's about all we have to talk about for now. Definitely check back in with me on Monday. I will update a wind guide where we go back over the holes 1 through 9. I will hopefully have played a quick qualifying round on one of my accounts, and if I notice anything, I will definitely key you in on those tips as well. If I notice maybe a club change is needed, or a hole is better to be played a different way than I talked about on here, I will definitely update that on that upcoming video on Monday. And you also have all the different wind directions for your different various shots on these holes. So take notes, practice, and until I see you again, good luck, God bless.